My name is Serena and this is my video out. Hi, I'm Serena Sankofa and I identify as pansexual, gender fluid woman. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them. I grew up in Rochester. I was born in Oklahoma, but I moved to Rochester, New York when I was 7. And it's a very constricting place. I say it's the place where dreams go to die. And I didn't feel like I could grow or do what I want. And so 4 or 5 years ago, I moved to Brooklyn with my best friend. I don't think I even heard about the term pansexual until several years ago, or my early 20s. I was more familiar with the term bisexual. I say that I came out to myself when I was, I want to say 23, so 7 years ago now. And I didn't, at that time, I was in a relationship with a cisgender heterosexual man. So I wasn't really doing a lot of exploring, and for me a lot of my identity is around I don't really know until I've experienced it. And as I started, after that relationship ended and I started dating and queer dating, I started to broaden my concept of who I'm attracted to, sexually, romantically, all of that, and found that pansexual was the best identifier because I'm attracted to a lot of people regardless of their gender. So I use that term just because it was what I was most familiar with. Janelle Monáe wasn't coming out as pansexual. I didn't really see any representation of that anywhere. And so I used the term bisexual, and at the time I had a really huge crush on my friend who is gender non-conforming. And so after that experience, I was like, okay, well, if I like somebody who's not prescribing to one or the other, and I understand bisexual also, people still identify with that and like multiple, like one or two or more. But for me, after that experience and then meeting other people who I felt attracted to, I felt like bisexual just wasn't encompassing enough for the feelings I was having. The first person I told, I want to say maybe my best friends. I told them, and for me it was also more of just like, this is who I'm dating right now, and less about I'm going to reveal this new identity to you. It was just kind of like, oh, I like this new person right now. And I don't know if we really had a lot of conversation. I don't think I had a lot of conversation because my best friends at that time were both straight, cisgender women, and so we didn't really have a lot of conversation around it. It was more so as I started having more queer and trans and GNC friends that I started having these conversations and talking about it. And what was that experience like? I feel like it was like being affirmed, being seen for the first time. It was kind of like connecting the dots and looking at a lot of different experiences throughout my life that I think I just kind of pushed aside as, oh, well, I like cisgender straight men, so that's just what I'll do then. And so as I started having more conversations and exploring, it opened up a new world, and it was more like, well, why wouldn't I do that? Similar to with my friends, for my family, it was more so just telling them this is who I'm dating right now. My mother passed away before I ever told her. I think that probably would have been the most affirming experience for me. With regards to my other family, it's kind of just like, this is what it is. but for my mother, that would have been important to like have that affirmation. And I do think she would have been supportive of that.
What would you have said to her if she was still alive?
It would have been the same, that there's this new person I'm seeing, and letting her know. And I think growing up with her, she was like the perfect mom for me, because it was never like I'm right and you're wrong. It was always a conversation. So even if she told me something, if I had a different opinion, she would genuinely listen to me. I feel like if I did get pushback from her, it would have been her being concerned about people harming me because of my identity. But for my mom, she always was genuinely concerned, like, does this person love you? Because if they love you, then I love them too. So I think the conversation would have went really well. My best advice is to connect with other people that are experiencing that or have gone through that. I think that's what helped me the most, to see other people, and then to feel affirmed as I was exploring that. And I think in the digital age, it's a lot easier to connect with people, even if you're in a really small town. Or Rochester did not have a really big LGBTQ plus community, and it was also very white, and that didn't feel affirming. And so I feel like you can go online. There's a lot of like meetup groups and stuff, so just take that time to explore and find other people that are experiencing that. In general, I would say it's the right wing rolling back rights for LGBTQ people, not just at a national level, but on an international level. This is occurring. It's occurring in Brazil, and I know today there's the Supreme Court case that will begin today, so we don't know the results of it, about whether or not LGBTQ people can be fired because of their identity. So that's just one thing that's happening now, but it's a trend that's going on all over, and so if we're not vigilant about it, they'll continue to roll back those rights. My favorite part about being me is that I'm willing to try something and experience something within reason, before saying that it's not for me.
Professional!